Well, Spec, can you hear my voice alright? I guess I might as well just talk about it without having to text a bunch. If you can hear my voice, that is. Cool. So yeah, I was thinking about earlier this earlier today about what can I do that's interesting, that's like a project of mine, since a lot of artists do projects of their own. And so I asked a question on Twitter about it, since I have a Twitter account, and someone suggested that I should like write a short story about like with a genre that I sort of liked. Since I never really wrote anything, I was just thinking about different genres. And a thing that I sort of liked about some of the shows I watched, that there was a slight, like, some of the shows I watched had slight realism in it, especially some of the ones that had like female characters in it. So if you ever heard of Old Maidens in Your Savage Season, that's a really good show where it deals with like growing up with your body and dealing with sort of just growing up and dealing with like high school relationships and um about like the sexual parts of your body and stuff. So it was interesting how the show handled that. So I wanted to do something like that, but like with an adventure side to it. Yeah, like with the work that I want to eventually do or story I want to make in the future, that it teaches like an overall lesson. I'm just not sure of the lesson yet. But especially like with all this downtime that everyone pretty much has, why not just start thinking about a story or something that I could work towards right now? But also the reason why I started like this series called Closing the Gap is because that's the stage that I am with my art. That like I have good taste, but I just don't have the technical skills to be able to create it how I want it to be. So this gives me something to do, something to post, and even if I don't get a lot of views or whatever, it's just something for me personally. Yeah, the thing about like me and my brother, we have a bunch of stories that me and my brother just talk about. Sorry about that. Yeah, we just have a bunch of stories, and we just wish that we can like express them in some sort of way other than writing, because uh I like the visual aspect of stories. Uh, if I ever got it to that point, I wouldn't want to make it a series. I'll probably just want to make it like a one and done deal, just because uh there's other like stories and characters I want to talk about. And if if it does eventually evolve into a series, um I'm not sure how it will go really, because since I want it to be like sort of an adventure type of thing, uh I want to do, like, I think is some like animations in not in cartoons particular, but just some animations don't really explore like the world building aspect of it, of the world that they create. Like some animes do, but not all of them. But for the one I'm currently doing right now, uh for when I write it, it might just be, I don't know, it'll probably be a couple pages to like start out so I could get the characters down, or the main character per se. Yeah, like I think for some like stories, world building is important, especially uh to establish the world and its laws. Like uh a popular anime uh that's currently out right now is My Hero Academia. I think that if uh the creator took a bit more time with the world building, it can engage me a bit more. But since like the world is sort of, since the story is going so fast, especially what it is in the manga right now, I feel that um it doesn't get enough chance to show like, oh, like what's capable in the world, and how like the law systems and how other characters um deal with like their quirks and powers and stuff. Yeah, that's understandable. That's why I like the Vigilante series. Like I haven't read it, but like just that it goes into the world of it, and how not everyone is born with such a powerful quirk and they want to be a hero too. And that's why I like the gentle art so much. Uh, that they aired on the anime. I like it a lot because it goes over, not everyone, like there are people who want to be heroes, but just because of the system and how they regulate oh, how do you become a hero and what you have to do to become one is what is so interesting and how Gentle went to the side of villainy. Yeah, he's by far is like one of my favorite characters. Uh, he's probably at the same level as Jiro. I just like Jiro's design and her quirk. But out of like characterization, yes, I like Gentle the most.
Usar risposta boas. Advita da engranho. Fatabas por beauties.
Okay, sorry about that. Uh, I don't even think I have. So, oh, the range of characters, like the age, uh, I don't want the whole cast to be teenagers. I sort of want them to be like, well, because you already know the trope of anime for most anime. Oh, if it's a high school setting, they're usually a second year. That's about to become on their last year, basically, and it's usually a teen cast. I want to have some adult characters in this series. Oh, in this story that can sort of mentor the main character and her other friends. So I don't want it to just be, oh, the whole teen show or the teen series, like other series. Yeah, I think that like in most of the anime that I've seen or some of the popular ones, they use them sort of like as a teacher, but they don't really teach them like life lessons. Because I know I was taught a lot of things from a lot of adults in high school. And I'm even still learning things about from other adults too, even though I'm an adult myself. So I think it's important that there's like a model figure for these characters. I also thought about like a thing I always wanted to do was have younger kids like younger kids like maybe like from the ages of like 10 and 11 or younger take the role of like learning how to be an adult. Yeah, that's all. That was what I was thinking about too, about having some younger kids like be maybe like one or two characters teaching the main character or other characters about maybe like how to live, even though they're like very young. Say like they had like some experiences that uh even at like a teenage or adult range would be very difficult to deal with, and they dealt with it.
Usar espaçados. Advita das engranhe. Vatabas por bilris.
Any love rivals? Um, I mean, uh, I'm like so far. I'm thinking about. Of course, it's going to be like an opposition against the main character about having her feelings reciprocated, but ultimately, is spoiler alert. She's not going to get the guy that she wants to be with. Uh, but like about having to be like some type of like rich character or power. Yes, I do want that in the story because like usually some of the characters that have like characters that seem like they have high power or like high fame or high money or high status could really learn a lot if they go through a situation with a character that isn't like that. I know it seems kind of cliche, but there are like many people like that in reality that have all this money or they're super famous, but they don't really understand the reality of another person. And not everyone has to understand, but uh, they just have to be mindful. But I do want to make a rich person into the story. I'm just not sure like how that will work in the world. I mean, not in the world, but like in the story so far. The protagonists have any type of job that's been decided. Can you elaborate on that? Oh, um, hmm. I haven't really decided upon that yet. Like, I sort of want this character to be like on the side of, uh, hmm, like, a character that sort of struggles with like communication, not so much like, well, actually, the character is going to struggle with like being vulnerable to other people. Like she isn't able to like express her feelings as well. So like if she did have a job, it would probably be one that doesn't like require a lot of communication. So like we suggested like a cleaner or uh or something like around the school that doesn't require like other people's help. I don't want another Comey. Yeah, I don't want her. I don't want another copy of her because even though I never like read it, her situation is different from what's going to be from her. It's more like I'm thinking like I want to make it sort of realistic that it's a past experience that she dealt with, the situation that she was in uh wasn't favorable for her and she's closed off. But more importantly, it's between like a guy that she previously liked and it didn't go so well. So now she wants to make sure that this next relationship or person that she wants to be with is goes the way that she wants it to go. So it's not like she would turn into like a different type of person. She would probably be more cautious about how she behaves and how other people interpret her. This the situation that she's gonna get in is sort of similar to what happened to me back in high school. So it might not be a traumatic moment to like some people because that's just not how they behave or how they act like, but it will be, I wouldn't say traumatic, but it just sort of like changed her way how she views upon people and relationships in general. As for me with the incident, uh I obviously changed, but I didn't change for worse. I changed for better. And this will be a situation where someone would change for worse. Okay. Oh, about her friends. Well, I don't want her to be a loner, but also I don't want her to like. Well, that's the tricky thing, because the thing is, for me, if she already has like friends before like uh the series starts, it would have meant that she already like has some capability of sharing feelings and communication before the incident happened, you know? And if she was by herself, it will be more like, oh, she'll have to uh grow in order to make her friends, which I could do that, but then it sort of becomes cliched that, oh, you know, the shy one or the one that doesn't talk much will gain friends over time uh through situations and other things. It really depends on uh how I want to go about her supporting characters and her supporting friends, because uh because while I was in high school, I had a couple of friends that would support me, but I wouldn't tell them everything about, you know, how I'm feeling and stuff. In which I think I might model the character off of like what I sort of went through from high school, since it would become a little bit more realistic. Which I didn't really hang out a lot in high school, and when I did, it was usually the funnest moments I ever had with my friends. And the thing is, when thinking about friends, I want characters that are compatible with each other. Um, Not just, oh, we have the over talkative one. Of course, she's gonna be friends with someone that doesn't talk much, or he or she just finds them interesting because, you know, they often don't talk or whatever. Because I want to take time to create the side characters to be just as good as the main character, which is why I like stories that have good side characters, because they're they're either developed enough to a point where, yeah, I could consider them complete or actual character rather than them just being there. Yeah, definitely. Like I think, especially with like characters uh that aren't like typical, uh so more like a main character that isn't outspoken or like gun ho about you know, moving forward towards their path. It's You have to be careful about how you structure your character. You don't want the character to be too negative all the time, or uh like you don't want them to become just a trait for like the beginning of your story. but also you don't want them to um like develop too quickly, which is sort of a hard thing. And for this reason is why I'm having a difficult time deciding uh do I want her to have friends or not. Because on the other hand, I can make her have friends, but she could just be like really distant from them, and maybe her friends doesn't know why because she never told them, or uh other stuff. Yeah, that's a good idea. Like, I think this is where the adults come in. So maybe there's like an adult that she talks to, she's fond of talking to. Is she well, maybe she hasn't revealed it to uh the like the adult per se, but like she feels more comfortable talking about things to her. I mean to the adult than her friends. So she feels more comfortable that way. Because I know I was more comfortable talking to adults than my own peers sometimes about certain things because that's just how I felt. I felt that certain like classmates of mine weren't to be trusted, and since most of them was like immature, it's yeah, especially since most of them was immature, I felt like it wasn't safe for me to try to like tell them stuff about myself. I haven't thought about her parents. Like her her parents is like uh she's perfectly fine for parents. She doesn't seem like any different from them. Uh it's like she doesn't want her parents to worry about her and about her issues that she seems is just like it's so insignificant. Like why would she bother talking to them about it? So she just has this facade that, you know, everything's going okay in school. I'm enjoying time with my friends. And it gets tiring for her to keep putting up that facade for her and her parents. But mainly, if it's like, you know how shows and anime they have like, oh, it's specifically like only the mother because the father left or something. But for this one, I want to, I want the adult to be her father because there's not a lot of fathers in anime that I've seen that have gone through like an experience with like their female child. I have to say, it's always like the mother, and I understand why it's the mother. It's the easiest to do. I mean, easiest to write, and it's easier for a mother to understand for where a male is coming from. But from like a male to understand a woman, especially if the one that gave birth to her isn't there, that's interesting. The thing is, like with her mother, I always like if you ever played Persona 3, uh a thing that drew me into Yukari was that it was her mother that left because she was having issue like she was an alcoholic, I think. And her father was taking care of Yukari. And that's what drew me into this is an interesting dynamic between daughter and father, which the father is trying to take care of the daughter. I was thinking about going down that path for her, but not like, oh, an alcoholic type of reason, but more like more for a pettier reason than normal. And this will also solidify her with not understanding like how to talk towards guys and stuff like that because her mother isn't there and her father is just there. He doesn't really know about how like any advice towards a woman about trying to get in a relationship. So I wouldn't say she will be a depressive character. Uh, she will have an animal, uh, as like a pet, and there will be an animal in the story. Since I wanted it to be sort of like a fantasy type of story, to what adventure type of story. The adventure aspect, I'm not so sure about what it will be, but yeah, yes, she will have a an animal, and I don't think she will be a depressive character. It's more like she's an observant character. Because I feel like there isn't like a lot of main characters that are observant, and she will make wrong calls too about specific people, like about how she believes they'll behave. So just based off of her past experiences and just observing people, you know. So there'll be times where she uh overthinks about a certain person and it's not true. As for the animal, not really sure what it'll be. Not yet, anyway. Like the show. I meant not show. Like the series. Uh, Doctor Stone. Senku is very observant of people, even if he isn't like a compassionate person himself. Like, well, he's not one to show emotion towards being compassionate towards others, but he's very observant of people, and I like that about him. So we need a observant main character like that. But it's not like her as a character is like, oh, I'm so sad, I'm so depressive. It's more like I don't often want to talk. I rather observe, and I rather not try to communicate because of that. That's what I want to make. I want to make memorable characters or characters people could look back on and say, "Wow, this character was actually pretty good," and not just for like, oh, a design standpoint or uh like a meme memorable standpoint, like as a character. Oh, the love interest. For him, uh now um the thing that I see in these stories, especially if there's a female main character, when there's a guy, is always like, oh, he's the super coolest, he's the most handsomest guy in the school, and every girl wants to be with him. He because he's just so popular. Um, and it's either like he's so popular, or he's disgustingly nice that it isn't realistic. Um, so like, um, hmm. Oh, it like if you ever saw the anime, I think it had a manga too. Say I Love You. The main love interest was a guy named not Yamato. I forgot his name, but it's more like, oh, he's like super nice to people. Uh, he like doesn't want to hurt their feelings. He's a cool guy. Everyone likes him. I don't like those type of characters. Even though I watched it and I only enjoyed it because of how May's personality was. I didn't really like the aspect of him so much. So for this character, um, I wanted to be that. Hmm. I wanted to be that. Uh, yeah. I want him to be. Hmm. It's like I want him to be realistic. So like, yeah, of course, there's gonna be girls that like him, and he's gonna be sort of like he's gonna sort of resemble today. You know, if a girl asks you out or wants to be with you, of course you would take it. Well, it depends on the girl, but like, well, let's be honest, most guys will probably take the opportunity to do so. Uh, if they was given the option to be with a girl that who wanted to be with them, especially in high school. I have friends and peers that would just go on dates with girls that didn't make any sense, or be in a relationship with girls that didn't make any sense whatsoever. So it's not like he's going to be a player or like a playboy or anything. He's going to be an opportunist. So whenever he sees something as an opportunity, he will take it. Even if that means like uh taking advantage over like well, a cliche example over like there'll be like this nerd guy, or and he needs help with like relationship stuff. If you do my homework, then sure, do it, or something like that. He wouldn't be a dumb character since he's an opportunist. He would be more like a clever type of guy, and he'll be able to read in between the lines of people. So sort of like if you took the like the good guy aspect of a character like that, and you make it sort of twisted, that's what he's gonna be. And what she finds into him, she wouldn't really know about uh like the way how he like behaves and stuff until like she actually got closer to him. But also I would say he's sort of charismatic in how he can mince words to sort of get what he wants. It's like he tempts people. Like he plays with his words to get the stuff that he wants. Yeah, it's interesting because um like not many people will actually figure that out about him. He just seems like an average guy, uh, who looks decent, and girls like him, want to be in a relationship with him. He takes the opportunity to do so, because he knows life is short. Oh, that's fine. Is it still buffering? Is it better now? I changed some settings so it wouldn't be. Well, this is still doing it. It's not on. Okay, is it better now? I changed I changed something. That's why I buffered for that 1 second. Okay. Okay, that's good. So we can keep talking. Hobbies. Hmm. She really likes astronomy. So she likes the stars. Uh she's really into like zodiacs and all of that stuff. Mainly psychology actually. She's more interested in like the interactions of people and uh like she wants to be a psychologist so she can help other people like get through times like where she's at right now. So she does a lot of research um about like how the mind works and all that stuff. So she does her free time just by reading, really, and research. I do not have a name for him yet. Um so It became after the incident. Before, she really didn't like know what she didn't have an idea what she wanted to do with her life. And the incident happened around like her middle school time. So during the time that she was growing up, she she's been living with the incident for maybe like 2 years. But it came up after the it came up after the incident. But she's determined to achieve it. So no, um, well, he will return, but it will be for one of her friends that has a conflict with him. Well, I wouldn't say conflict. Like my idea is, well, this is sort of based off my friend, um, and how like uh I had a crush on her, but I was super awkward and weird, and I ruined it. And he goes through like he gets a relationship with her during during that time. And then eventually in high school, um, he starts having feelings for another girl, and he's not too sure about which girl he should be go out with. Even though he knows what my answer will be, ultimately my answer was, uh, you do what you feel it is right to do because I have no control over his life. Like honestly, if it was me, uh, I would have stayed with the one I originally went with, but he was conflicted between the two, and he ultimately chose to stay with the one that he started with. But the other person turned out to be not such a good person in the end, so it was fine. So that sort of incident will happen to her and her friend. I don't think he'll become a like an obstacle for her. It's more like it's something that happened in the past. It is nothing she could do to change about it. So she just move on from it. I'm thinking, she doesn't at home mainly. She does go to the library to look for astrology books. But like for like a club activity, mm, maybe later down. Maybe she might start it herself. Since like I'll make something up for the school, but I don't want her to join a club yet. Not yet. Not so early into the story. But if she does eventually join a club, her friends might join with her. But if not, it will be a new experience, which will be interesting. Well, thinking about it, I think she could join a club, but she won't be like connected to any of them. Sort of like she's there and they know that she does a lot of research and she's a good worker. Yeah. I'm not sure if I want this to be like in Japan or like somewhere else. Yeah. I could do that. It will seem like an interesting world too if two places fuse together. Because I sort of want it to be like in an American place since the Japanese trope has been done to death and almost everyone knows how it will go. You know, there's always a like a festival of some sorts, uh, a culture festival. It's just a bunch of stuff that a lot of anime viewers already know. You know, the Grand King with the Statue of Liberty. Guess I could just fill in the eyes. This won't be a complete drawing. This is just a sketch, so I can get the idea flowing of the character. But so far, I like the protagonist look. But I might add a little bit more to it when I keep designing more of the character. Thanks, I really appreciate it. But also, what I want to do, I want to try to avoid like a lot of cliches in stories. Like, oh my gosh, feels like. Yeah. Um, I mean, so far she seems generic. I want to make her a little bit more interesting in the design, but that comes with time. It's probably just a hairstyle that it seems sort of generic. But then again, looks aren't always everything to a character. Hmm? Oh, it's white. Yeah. Um, I'm not sure to be have between long or short hair. Um, I usually like longer hair characters, but there are some short hair characters I like too. But there's so many characters that I've seen. Well, other than May from Say I Love You, but there's been other characters I've just had long hair and had like that type of oh I'm like a shunning type of personality. I want to sort of flip it and do a short haired character for it. So I might have to change my stream settings for the next one, but it's okay. Thanks for still commenting. Yeah, I'll experiment with the hair. I'll probably just do a headshot. I probably could do another drawing or two if these turn out pretty quick. A thing that I'm not very good at is being consistent with my models. Yeah, it definitely takes time. I'm not sure how often I'll do these, but uh, I'll try to do some, like maybe 2 a week. More if I have more time. And each stream will have a focus, so today's just me trying out and think of a story. A delinquent. I think there will be a delinquent, but they like they'll affect the protagonist, but it won't be. I would enjoy it if you did do that. Um, for like a delinquent, That's more of like a. I could see a delinquent being like one of her friends, honestly, if she can like talk to one of them and persuade them to change how they behave. But that mean it wouldn't. I think the delinquent will be an obstacle for her, but not in the way of like, oh, I want to be with this guy. It will probably be more than like in that adventure type of aspect, which I still don't know what it will be. So because the thing about delinquents that I find in like shows is, well, not really shows, just in like uh a lot of the stuff created is that, oh, usually it's either they're misunderstood by other people, or uh they're just a delinquent just to be a delinquent. Which, yeah, that can be turned around by the main protagonist or something else. Yeah, it's usually like um the delinquent has, it's either that the delinquent has a problem with their family member that they love. Oh, I haven't seen. Yeah, like I understand the reasons for like if like one of the delinquents. I mean, like if a delinquent is doing it for like their family or something. I understand that, but it's usually like they're misunderstood and they behave that way to protect their family members, which I understand, but it's been played out, I feel. If they're a delinquent, give them a, like more oomph to why they behave that way. If it's because they're immature, then let it be because they're immature. And like we all know generic writing about, oh, this delinquent was just beating up people because it's fun. That's still also a bad reason why. Which I can understand why, if it's like, oh, I beat up on people because I have no like confidence in myself, or like they're just doing it because it's the only way that makes them feel happy. But I want a delinquent that isn't like so cookie cutter like that. Oh, like the family was delinquents and they must be a delinquent too. That seems interesting. It seems pretty like now if I was a viewer watching, I would say, well, that's pretty stupid. Why would you want to continue to be a delinquent in your family? But it could be for an interesting reason. It will make the character way more interesting. Oh yeah, I'm a delinquent because my father was a delinquent and I gotta you know be a delinquent too. It just runs in the family's blood, I guess. We just are all delinquents. Because why not, right? But it would set up an interesting character, I feel. Of why they want to continue such a lineage. Yeah. Like, it could be like the family doesn't, like, wanna, like, seem like they're weak, you know? Maybe it's like a self security thing. They wanna, um, like seem strong and not seem weak to other people. So throughout their family history, they all struggled with uh trying to seem strong to other people and not seem weak or phased by reality or phased by the harsh truths of reality. So those delinquents, and maybe that's just a family trait they all have. But then again, thinking about the about them doing it in the family, I mean, there are some people that act just like their parents because that's how they acted in the past. But I don't think it will go that far as to say you have to be a delinquent like I did. for the side characters that aren't like, well, how I categorize side characters is that there's main side characters and just side characters. Let me hit in there. Depends on the character, really. Like if I do add a delinquent character, they wouldn't be like that pivotal to the story, but they'll be like a supporting character, but also it helped the main character to realize something about herself, you know. Like that's all I want the side characters to do. All side characters is to help her uh understand, to teach her that it's okay to be vulnerable and it's okay to be hurt because you were vulnerable. Yeah, it's a good lesson that I feel, because there's so many people, well, not really so many people, it's just uh something in a generation that people are starting to like grow and starting to harp upon that, you know, I can't show like any signs of weakness. I can't uh like be that vulnerable to people. I gotta act this certain way. I gotta be I have to show myself as a certain way to people to get them to like either like me or to do all type of stuff. And that, yeah, I understand of why you do it, but it's not healthy. But mainly for the protagonist is just like I said before about allowing herself to be vulnerable towards others and to not be afraid to do it. And if you do get hurt, you can heal past it. Uh, hmm. Let me see. I'm thinking maybe by the end of this month, I want to have uh like the main character decided and the guy decided upon like name and what they'll look like. For a page, that probably won't happen for a while. I mean, I should eventually try to make a page, but mm, I'm not confident in my skill level yet. But who knows? I could be ready. I just never tried it because I'm too afraid. But I know by the end of this month, I want to try to have both the main character and her love interest done, or at least uh, to a character design I like. So the next one will probably be uh, designing a dude. Also, the thing that I want to do in this story in particular is not just focus on the girl, but I want to focus on her love interest too. Like they do that in stories as well, but it's like the love interest isn't like the main focus, you know? I want it to be both of them because both of them, like, yeah, the guy might seem like, oh, he's manipulative, which he does. He is manipulative, but he knows that he's manipulative. So for like his sort of ordeal, he wants to like not exploit people, which seems kind of weird because you have so much power, and why would you give that up to like not be like exploitive to people? But for his story, it'll be more like he he regrets doing it to a specific someone. So, but he does it anyway because uh, well, he does it anyway because he feels that if he does it, he'll be vulnerable. I was thinking about adding a mystery to it to like like just something they need to uncover. I'm just not sure how I'll combine like I think for what I'm going towards, I wanted to have some type of fantasy related stuff, but I think at this point I might as well just make it into the genre of uh her just trying to get better as a person. And my like action fantasy one will be probably later. a mystery romance one. I mean, I guess it would be. I don't know if you would consider a mystery about like, oh, like what's this character's intentions? I mean, I guess it could be. And then some of the maybe chapters or episodes, if it even became an anime, which I highly doubt, um, would be like will focus on him. Oh yeah, definitely. Um, I'm not sure if I want like specifically like one of them to play it, or I want a character to do it. I want to avoid a character being like a gamer archetype. I want to avoid that unless they're male. The reason why I say male is because is it's getting popular now that that creators are doing female gamers, and it's more so for like, oh, it's a fan service type of thing rather than it being uh like an actual like character trait or a reason to why they play games. Like I have an idea of a character as to why they play games, but it's not like for like, oh, a depressive reason. I was thinking more so for a medical reason, and it probably won't be like, oh, it's to cure depression or something, or to uh like alleviate their depressive tendencies. Uh, this would probably be where more of the fictional stuff will come in. It wouldn't actually work, but eventually when I get to it, or the character I'm thinking about, uh, it'll make sense. Mm, this is bigger. That's exactly what I was thinking about. That they had a hand condition and where they wasn't able to move their hand as well. And by playing like Ritatoppy games, video games, they regained their muscles. And because of that constant like playing games to increase their muscle movement, um, they become like one of the like well-known gamers across the world in this universe, of course, just because of them being able to play games and practice and do it for exercise. But yes, that was exactly 100% what I was thinking. I already have a character for it. It's just trying to put that character into the story that'll make sense. or even if I want to have them as like a main character. Yeah, I can see that too. But then again, like I want that character to be a female, but I don't want to go into the trope of a female gamer, you know, because that's starting to become very popular. That's a possibility. If I do something like that, I want it to be a guy that dresses like a girl. I don't want the other way around because I want diversity, but I don't want so much diversity. It's like, oh, this is like a woke type of show. I don't want it like that or series. But like I said, I want to try to avoid like um some of the more popular things, like a girl dressing as a guy. That's been kind of done in a lot of other shows and stuff. Even if it was for a reason, it's just been done. Like when I make a character, when I'm like usually when I talk to my brother or stuff, when I make a character, I want them to have a reason to why they're this as a character, not just because we need this type of character. Okay, check. I don't want checklist characters. But there are some things I do think that a show, not really a show, but like a specific characters that characters do need to grow. Like there will be that type of character that would need to be like, oh, the race and color. Hmm. I actually, I think I've decided upon the nationality of the protagonist. Um, I put it in a Google Doc somewhere, but and I should get your question on what. Yeah, that's also a tricky subject about like with the race and ethnicity and uh sexual orientation of the character will be. I don't want to add too much that it seems like I'm pandering, but then again, it's not like I want to like avoid none of it because it's reality. I want to simulate reality. There's different types of people that exist, you know. There's other things I want to avoid uh when making this story. I just can't think of it right now. Or making a character in general. Oh, a homeless person? Uh, hmm. That actually, I was actually thinking about doing that in this story too. Like, there's a moment where they come in contact with a homeless person, and then a homeless person explains like their story of why and how they became homeless. And for that one, uh, I wanted it to be unique. I didn't want like a generic homeless person, like, oh, uh, I just got kicked out of my job. Well, I mean, it could be that, but it could be for like a deeper, darker reason of why they got kicked out. Like, um, like I've heard of stories where, well, okay, and one of my family members, uh, like she didn't get kicked out or anything. It's just that the business office is like racist, but I don't want to do anything like regarding racism unless it's like with a specific character for a specific reason. But if I do a homeless person, I'll have to do my research on how people become homeless. I could do it about that too. Yeah, that sounds pretty interesting. Like he was a cop, but he got laid off, and maybe he got. Yeah, that seems pretty interesting. I want to do unique scenarios that isn't seen very much, but that does seem something reasonable. But I want specifically if it was a homeless person, uh, I want it to be about like his workplace and like how in the workplace is not how it's always seemed. So let's say he had like uh, like a pretty good job, like I don't know, uh, something that paid like a lot of money and a lot of people want to be. So let's say he was like an artist, like not um like a painter or a drawer, but like a singer, because there are a lot of people who want to be a singer, or maybe he was like a like an athlete, something in the workplace that uh forced him to quit and he didn't do it, or just for a shady reason and that's why he's homeless. It could teach people uh that not always what you want or what dream job you want is always what it seems. Because I know for a fact that when I went to Cleveland Institute of Art, it was not what I thought it would be. Not in a negative way. It's more of a positive way that if you want to like make it as like an animator or be big, you have to put in a lot of work and a lot of time. And you just got to be confident with yourself when you do that too. I'm not sure if I should draw more or just stop for right now because I've been streaming for maybe 2 hours. Not sure. Yeah, for sure. Oh wow. Well, I guess I'll just end it and I'll continue. Uh, the next stream I'll probably continue with the guy character. If not, I'll probably still be drawing the main character. And by that time, I will have more information about what's her name and other stuff too. So yeah, thanks for coming, Spec. I really appreciate you coming and talking to me. It made it easier to draw and to sort of record my thoughts so I won't lose them. Yeah, it's just getting the characters and like how I want to start the story mainly. Yeah, thanks, you too. Till next time. To those watching in the future. Till next time.